This is the Ohio AgNet from the Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF and Certain Corn Herbicide. Unleash residual power early to allow for pre- or post-application to attack weeds at their weakest. I'm Ty Higgins. Powered by soy biodiesel, our next monthly check-in at Farm Credit Mid-America will be today as we talk about balance sheet basics. Join the Ohio AgNet on Monday as we get an update from Ohio Corn and Wheat about the great work being done to represent Ohio's grain farmers at the state and national levels. Then catch the Ohio AgNet in South Charleston with Sunrise Cooperative on February 17th as they kick off their FFA Career Day series. Students will have the opportunity to explore careers in ag and get a behind-the-scenes look of Sunrise Cooperative. Let's check in with our weekly update from the Ohio Soybean Council and your checkoff dollars at work. Here's Dusty Sonnenberg.
Joining me on today's weekly update from the Ohio Soybean Council is Taylor Dill, Director of Research. And Taylor, one of the biggest challenges farmers face every spring is that decision to replant. Some interesting research, though, going on, funded by the checkoff.
Absolutely. Soybean replanting can be such a frustration every single spring, specifically for the drone usage for our decision making. The idea is to be able to use the drone to map out the field, to be able to give a recommendation on replanting. And so basically, when we're looking at soybean replanting, we want to have uniformity. And so you can go so low, and if you have uniformity, then you don't have to replant. Uniformity is not very well defined. What's the perfect measurement in between plants? Like this, these are questions that we don't know the answer to, and what Dr. Canal is looking at for this research. I know that they were on their hands and knees measuring the inches in between soybean plants to be able to feed the AI to tell it how to measure uniformity within the soybeans, all their pictures, and make sure it's identifying a soybean and it's not identifying a weed, because the AI also has to learn what the bean looks like.
Yeah.
So when it's competing with ragweed that early and you fly a drone over it, how does it know? And so they're teaching it what the soybean looks like. This is how far apart we want them to be. If they're not this far apart, then maybe you can make a replant decision. So I think that's a really exciting tool that they're going to be able to make with this research.
Again, my guest is Taylor Dill, Director of Research, and today's update brought to us by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff.
Elevating your safety knowledge and practices within the workplace, the goals of the 2026 Ohio Safety Congress and Expo. That's March 11th, 12th, and 13th at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. Sandy Golden Vest joins us. She's superintendent of the Division of Safety and Hygiene with the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation. What are some of the key topics being covered at this year's Ohio Safety Congress and Expo?
This year's Safety Congress and Expo is going to feature sessions on everything from safety leadership and culture. We're going to talk about total worker health. We'll have some sessions on risk management, emergency preparedness, and we'll even have some emerging technologies. You know, our attendees, they can also explore tips like ergonomics, psychological safety, aging workforce strategies, and really we'd like to focus on industry-specific best practices that are all aimed at creating safer, healthier workplaces.
The Safety Congress and Expo always has great keynote speakers, presenters. What does 2026 offer in that regard?
I'm really excited. We are bringing in Garrison Wynn and Alan Keller. Garrison Wynn, he's really known for high energy presentations that mix up humor with a very powerful message about leadership and safety culture. Now, Alan Keller brings a different but equally important perspective. He's a mental health advocate, and he's an author who speaks about resilience and creating psychologically safe workspaces. His sessions are very heartfelt and inspiring, especially for those navigating high-stress environments.
3 days jam-packed with great information and resources. If someone listening or watching wants to register for Safety Congress, how can they go about doing that?
You can sign up online by visiting ohiosafetycongress.com. Our site will walk you through the process step by step.
Sandy Golden Vest, Superintendent of the Division of Safety and Hygiene with Ohio's Department of Bureau of Workers' Compensation. Great to see you, and looking forward to seeing you at Congress.
Thanks again, Ty. Appreciate it so much. We'll see you there.
Let's get a check of the forecast brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance. Online at seedconsultants.com. Here's Ryan Martin.
High pressure is sitting nearby. That gives us good sunshine, but it keeps us a little bit cooler cooler than what we were teased with this past Tuesday. Don't worry, more of that warm air is coming. Temperatures easing a little bit tomorrow with good sunshine still. And then we see strong south flow in here for Saturday, bumping temperatures up nicely, getting back to maybe some of those Tuesday levels, but clouds will be increasing. Overnight Saturday night through Sunday, have to pencil in some rain. I-70 southward, anywhere from a tenth to half an inch. Coverage around 80% south of I-70. You get north of I-70, I'm looking at clouds, but probably not much moisture for Sunday, and everything's gone by Sunday evening. We start off next week mild, plenty of sunshine for Monday and Tuesday, well above normal temperatures. Strong south flow for Wednesday as well. I think we have to watch for a few spits and sprinkles in northern Ohio Wednesday. Better chances of rain Thursday. I'm Ryan Martin.
Ryan, thank you. Weather, economics, markets. What does the Cattle Facts Outlook signal for 2026? Here's Allison Kinney.
The popular Cattle Facts Outlook seminar held as part of CattleCon 2026 in Nashville, Tennessee, shared expert market and weather analysis. The U.S. cattle and beef industries enter 2026 with strong but volatile market conditions, as historically tight cattle supplies, record-setting beef demand, and elevated policy and weather uncertainty continue to support prices, even as markets appear to be near cylindrical highs. Tight inventories and exponential demand remain the dominant forces shaping the market. However, producer demographics, high input costs, and policy uncertainty point to a slow and measured expansion phase, said Mike Murphy, Cattle Facts Chief Operating Officer. As we look to 2026, cattle and beef prices are forecast to average steady to higher in 2026, with risk increasing later in the years as market anticipates larger supplies in 2027. For more information, visit ohioagnet.com for the entire article. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Allison Kinney reporting.
Thank you, Allison. The Ohio AgNet continues with today's featured audio next. Farmers, crop consultants, certified livestock managers, and agribusiness leaders. Keep up with the latest trends in agriculture March 10th and 11th at the Conservation Tillage and Technology Conference at Ohio Northern University in Ada. Increase your knowledge and bottom line with over 60 presenters. Register for the conference today at cttcohio.com and get exclusive access to videos of the sessions after April 15th. CCA and CLM credits included.
Attention construction pros. Purple Wave Auction brings quality equipment to your fingertips. Join our bi-weekly online auctions featuring dozers, excavators, loaders, and more. We provide detailed listings, photos, and seller contact info. Inspect online or in person. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com today and see why informed builders choose Purple Wave. Transparent processes, real deals, your next great purchase awaits. purplewave.com.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. I'm Ty Higgins. The challenges of the 2025 growing season meant some opportunities for some good research at test plots across the state. With today's featured audio, here's Joe Everett.
I'm joined by Brian Dresbach, who is a technical agronomist with Bayer. And let's talk a little bit about some of the struggles we had with the growing season, maybe what you found at the research farm there in Conover.
Yeah, so some of the things we saw there at the Conover Research Farm was planting date. So we had a lot of replant this year with the wet environment that we had, the wet conditions that we had from April all the way to June. So we had a lot of issues with replant and a lot of time on planting date. So there were some instances where and also rainfall. So there were some instances where it was sporadic rainfall here and there, but not everywhere. Also, another thing was come harvest time, a lot of soils were retaining water and other ones weren't. So a lot of yields were all over the place depending on where you were standing.
Now, did you find anything interesting with some of the data that you collected after harvest?
Yeah, so disease wasn't very prevalent this year, so a lot of fungicide applications really didn't do much difference than it was 2 years ago. So we didn't have tar spot near as bad. And we didn't have a whole lot of gray leaf spot in areas. But again, with that late season dry down, the drought, the heat stress that we got from either daytime heat or nighttime heat where it was above 75, that really took a lot of pressure to the later maturities. Versus the earlier maturities that hit that milk line and was able to senesce a lot earlier than the later season stuff.
Now let's switch gears a little bit. We talked about some of the negatives and let's just face it, last year was kind of a struggle for a lot of people just with grain prices and with just some of the things we had to deal with drought and those types of things. Let's talk to the future. What are you excited about going into this next growing season?
Yeah, so this next growing season, again, there at the research farm, we're doing a lot of stuff. We're continuing our testing on Viconic. We're also continuing our testing on new lines for both corn and beans. We're doing a lot of agronomic demos there at the farm. We're also doing a lot of CP demos there at the farm, whether it was Delaro or other herbicides. We're working with our pre-commercial team. We're also working with our other agronomy team to kind of get that data set there for that region.
And where can people maybe find some information? I know some people might not even know where Conover is. It's just a small little town in Ohio. If they want to come visit or get some information, where can they find that?
Yeah, so reach out to your dealer, reach out to your rep. You can give me a call. I'm always there. We give you a tour of what's happening there at the farm, but it's just about 10 miles east of Piqua. They're off State Route 36, so it's not that far away from anywhere from the western Ohio. So again, we do tours all the time. We run people through and show them what's up, what we do, and also kind of the stuff that we do to make sure that our products work for your region.
Well, thanks. I've been visiting with Brian Dresbach, a technical agronomist for Bayer, and good luck this coming season.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. In agriculture, timing matters, and so does good information. From the latest ag news to up-to-the-minute weather and market updates, OhioAgNet.com keeps you informed when it matters most. Plus, catch featured audio and video, expert insights, and stories that impact your operation and your bottom line. Finally, a news website built for your schedule and built for Ohio agriculture. Morning, noon, or late at night, today's headlines are ready when you are at OhioAgNet.com. We'll get a check of the markets and some analysis next as the Ohio AgNet continues.
It's time for the Morton Buildings Building Value Days sales event running now through the end of February. Morton buildings are built stronger, last longer, and look better. So if you're planning for a garage, farm shop, stall barn, a storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, or anything in between, act now. Our buildings are built to last, but these savings won't. Visit MortonBuildings.com or contact your local Morton office to take advantage of current savings on new buildings. Certain restrictions may apply. Offer valid only on select new building orders placed between January 5th and February 28th, 2026.
They didn't have skim milk for your coffee, so I just got formaldehyde.
Ugh, isn't that stuff in floor cleaner?
Pizza's here. Would you like cheese on that? Or how about a Crolian?
Oh, no, that's in bug spray.
Hi there, would you like to sample our new scent? Diethylene glycol.
Isn't that the stuff in antifreeze?
You wouldn't want to eat it, drink it, or even smell it, but that's exactly what's in your vapes. If you vape, quit. If you don't vape, don't start. For help, go to odh.ohio.gov/no vapes. A message from the Ohio Department of Health.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. I'm Ty Higgins. This morning's market analysis brought to you by Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to bring a brand new soybean crush facility to Upper Sandusky. Learn more about marketing your soybeans with LDC at 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets yesterday engineered a nice little turnaround for the second half of the trading day, finishing higher on beans, higher on wheat, and corn got back part of its losses down nearby, but still stronger on the new crop. Yesterday morning, there was a flash announcement of 231,000 metric tons of corn sold to unknown. There still hasn't been anything on the soy side all the way back through this Monday morning. Ethanol production was recovering a little bit, 326 million gallons this past week as the coldest part of the air mass over the U.S. left. As we move into other stories, the jobs report that was out this week basically said more jobs added in January versus expectations, and so that actually helped stabilize some of the outside markets. Most of the turnaround, though, seems like it was engineered on the backs of soybeans as we got more hopium, if you will, on the export side, maybe to come in the next day or two. I'm Ryan Martin.
Thanks, Ryan. A check of overnight markets on the Ohio AgNet brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance. Online at seedconsultants.com. March corn, a quarter penny to the plus side, 427 3/4. May 4.37 a bushel, up a half, and July corn up a half as well at 4.44 3/4. Soybeans for March 11.33 3/4. That's a pickup of 9 3/4 in the overnight trade. May a dime higher, 11.49 1/2, and soybeans for July 11.62, up by 9.5 cents. No change for July wheat overnight, 5.54 1/2. September 5.66 1/2, also unchanged. December wheat down a quarter penny at 5.84 1/4. After yesterday's trade, live cattle for February 242.35, that's up 3.25. April up 3.55 at 240.97. Feeder cattle for April 364.60, up 3.32. Feb lean hogs up a nickel at 86.90, and April 93.85, down $1.65. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Ty Higgins reporting. We'll see you down the road.